Hi, it's Heather and Scott here from the Finding Nightmares podcast. As some of the Legion listeners will know, we lost a great podcaster, Johnny Krug, this week, the week of this recording. Scott and I just wanted to give a shout out to Johnny and all of his work. I'm personally a fan of his stuff from Short Bus Cinema. Two of my favorite episodes is Kiss Goes to the Park, or the Opera of the Park, or whatever it was, or Kiss. Did you ever listen to that one?
Yeah, it was the Kiss, the Phantom of the Park, I think.
It talks about basically like Phantom of the Opera with Kiss in it. Himself and Ricky did a really great job of covering it, as well as Death Spa. They did a great job of talking about the very cheesy 80s slasher of Death Spa. I don't know if you have an episode you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, I listened to one like a while back, pretty much what got me into Short Bus Cinema, and it was their episode that Ricky and Johnny did of the last slumber party, because I remember recording that for the Horror Drunks podcast and going, oh man, this movie is a pile of crap. And the way they covered it and just joked about it, it's freaking hilarious. And yeah, like they put themselves through a lot for some of these films for that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously he's well known for Cougar Nation,
Yeah.
but I unfortunately did not get a chance to listen to any of those older shows because I was not into podcasting at the time, and I have not been able to find the show anywhere to play.
So even though Scott and I didn't know Johnny, Johnny did pave the way for podcasters such as myself and Scott. So thank you, Johnny. And this one's for you.
And I just want to also say our condolences go out to his family and all of his friends and everybody he's touched with this podcast.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 37 of the Friday Nightmares podcast. On this episode, the Friday Nightmares podcast goes to the beach.
Surfing USA.
And as always, I am one half of your hosting team, Mr. Smoke Show Crawford, coming to you from Swartz Creek in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm fully vaxxed, waxed, and ready to be called daddy, and also never get me wet and never feed me after midnight. And with me, as always, is
Heather Powell, coming to you from plain old watered down Ontario, Canada. But for a lot of people, that seems like outer space because they don't understand geography. So yeah, I'm really excited for this Let's Go to the Beach episode. Basically because it's summer themed, and every summer, every summer for the past 2 years, we've been doing this, let's be clear. Because every summer since 2020, Scott and I tried to do summer themed episodes. And this is just more beach horror. I think we did something like this last year too. I can't even remember what we did. But we didn't cover these movies, so it's okay.
Yeah, because I think what we did for the summer was the shark episode.
Yes.
For around Shark Week. And then we also did a Cabin in the Woods summer camp episode.
Yes, we did. Yeah, that's when we used to cover like 15 trillion movies.
Right?
Oh my God, never again.
No, and it's
now we're down to 4. Who knows? We might eventually get down to one theme in one movie,
right.
And that's it. That's all we talk about.
At that point, we can just come back and revisit themes because we'll have plenty of movies left to talk about it then again.
And I think we should start getting a cut of the Patreon money from Exploding Heads, since it's our conversations about barbecues and cookouts that seem to be fostering a good hour of their airtime. Right. So I just feel as that, or I should at least get that Blu-ray I won that I've been waiting for Christian to give to me, who lives 15 minutes away. In retrospect here, the dude could drop it off or I could pick it up anytime. But I just think we should work something out with Dave. We
Right?
could just
Well,
be like, what are they? The writers? The writers? We could be the
yeah,
writers.
we
for
get like
Floating Heads.
we get a writer's credit, or like maybe they could send Brandon over to fluff my balls.
Well, he'll just come over willingly to do that. Like
That's I'm hoping.
send him over. He's already on his way. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, you started this fucking conversation about cookouts and barbecues, and like it's created some steam. And really, like
really
personally, I
has.
don't give a shit. People call it whatever they want. People could call it like I flip hamburgers in my backyard for all I give a fuck. It doesn't really matter to me. But there's some like passionate opinions on it. Like it's called grilling, it's called this, it's called that. It's nice to see that we're discussing like fun, meaningless shit like this. Like it is actually quite refreshing, that's the biggest topic of the day is, whether something's called a barbecue or not if we're all going to die to COVID-19. So it's nice that we passed that point.
Yeah, I'll say it's nice, fun conversations like that I like to hear. And like, it's kind of neat because it's also a way to just kind of show us like regionally what others tend to call things like this. Like
I don't care. You care. I could give two shits whether someone calls it a cookout, a barbecue, grilling, picnic, eating hamburgers, eating hot dogs, having sausages, sitting in the backyard. I don't give a fuck what people call this shit at all. I don't care.
I just find it fascinating.
And I like making fun of you about cookout because I make fun of you about everything. I make fun of you about Fireball. I make fun of you about cookout. I listen back to our episodes and I'm like, man, I really am a bully. Like it does sound like, I'm the schoolyard bully picking on you, but yet you're the more popular one of our show. Like honestly, you're like the I don't want to say the star, but I guess the star. But what is it when like, oh, you're the underdog. You're the underdog. You're the person that like, I keep trying to like push you down and you just smoke me right out of it.
Like, I think it's maybe just because I'm great at rolling with things. That's how I've always been my whole high school life too. When I was bullied, I would just make fun of myself, steal the thunder away from everybody else.
Well, you also roll a lot, so that could have something to do with it too. In high school, you were rolling all the joints for everybody.
That's true. No, I was packing bowls back then.
Oh, you were like, joints are for children, Heather.
No, joints are too complicated for my ass. It's much simpler just to pack a bowl and smoke it.
That is true. And then you're like holding the lighter. Not that we've ever done that.
No, never,
ever.
Just like we've never played chicken with trains.
Never, ever. Who would do something so foolish like that, Scott? I don't know anyone who would. You missed your moment. Sorry, that was like 6 episodes ago. And so a quick shout out. We just recorded a Patreon episode with, speaking of Christian and Vince from the TGIF Friday Fan Podcast. And we did top 5 Canadian films because that's all I like is Canadian films. And it was great. It will be released, I don't know, whenever Scott gets around to editing it. Hopefully by now it's been released, at least to Patreon.
Yeah, I'll say by the time they hear this, it will definitely be on Patreon.
But not on regular feed if you want it early.
You gotta wait a little bit for that one.
You gotta shell out the $3 a month to be a Patreon. Yeah. If not, you can just wait because we'll still release it on our regular feed
because we're suckers to give you guys free content.
We just want people to hear us and give us attention. That's really, or I just want people to hear us and give me
notice
attention.
Us.
Notice me. So Scott has some big plans planned, everybody. So I would continue to work hard on our podcast, but unfortunately, somebody is going to the UP again, which is also known as the Upper Peninsula, which is also known as Wrong Turn.
So true.
Where Scott's going to find people like him, actually. He's just really happy to meet other like-minded individuals. So we're going to have a little bit of a change of schedule. So we will have this episode, another episode, and then we're going to have just a Patreon release. We're going to be doing top 5 80s slashers with a very special guest.
Yeah.
Who's near and dear to Scott's and I's heart. So he will be on. He'll give it away. It's a he. That only narrows it down to 25 billion podcasters that we could possibly have on the podcast. And then there will be a little bit of a break. I think it could last more than our usual, like every other release. We'll have to see because Scott is also dog sitting. And we will be asking who let the dogs out. And Scott will be like,
who?
I did. So, Scott, are you excited for your trip to the UP and see all your wrong turn cannibal brothers and sisters again?
Hell yes. I can't wait to start to meet up with them again and, have party it up crazy style and go hunt down some like out of towners. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, wait, no, not hunt. Party with them, hang out with them.
Is it going to be like the original Wrong Turn or the remake that everyone's mad at?
Like the original, crazy hillbilly.
You're gonna have some get some babes with you, and some guy's gonna hit you in a really nice car, and oh man, shit's gonna get real. When he is training to be a doctor. Oh man, sounds really exciting. I
am really looking forward to the trip. It'll be a nice getaway.
It will be. Hopefully you don't go looking for stupid shit again this year.
Oh, I'm going to try to find some abandoned mines.
I feel like you should have seen enough horror movies by now to know that that's not a good idea. But I respect the game, and just so everyone knows, you can send your application to the Friday Nightmares podcast as a co-host too. So I'm just gonna bring Dave C on. I like Dave C because he's angry. I like how angry Dave is. He's like, and I don't mean angry in a bad way. He just I was listening to the second most recent episode of Exploding Heads, and he calls his wife a wrench. And he's not wrong though. At first I was like, oh Dave, and then there'll be times yeah, that would really inconvenience me too if I had to try to get into the shower and she's always in the shower. I'd be annoyed by that too. If I have something to do and I tell someone I need the shower this time and then they get in, I would be pissed too. That would be annoying. That would be really annoying. Dave, you're right. Rebel, Dave. Don't put up with that shit. And Viva la resistance, Dave. Viva de la resistance.
And I also gotta say, and I love your mud flap idea. That bravo.
You know what? Dave's a marketer, right?
He is.
We should just be ghostwriters and just come up with weird shit they can talk about in that first hour. See what else they can brainstorm and talk about. But yeah, I'm on holidays this upcoming week. We're recording this just before Canada Day. So this will be released after Canada Day. So pre-happy Canada Day, or I guess past happy Canada Day, and happy 4th of July to you, Scotty.
Oh, thank you. And happy Canada Day to you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, yes. I thought you were thanking me for being Canadian.
Thank you for being Canadian.
I know, it's true. Bagged milk and all. So I'm looking forward to next week doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to go to the beach and still plan on packing more snacks in that fucking Outbreak movie from 2020. I still think of that every time, because I remember on the podcast, I said I had more snacks to go to the beach than these people did to drive across Australia.
Right.
And that still, to my mind, blows my mind still. And we'll be having a Canada Day thingy barbecue with water balloon fights that we're going to be doing. So after you hear this, all this have already happened. So hopefully there'll be pictures all over my Facebook of it. And Scotty, what plans do you have for the 4th of July? You have to go save an eagle or something and paint your chest in the American flag and have a good old cookout?
Well, paint my chest, yes. Not save an eagle, ride an eagle. We're going to ride across that Canadian border. Screaming, America!
America! And the Canadian goose is like,
and then we run away in terror. But I'm not sure if we're having a cookout yet. Gotta wait and hear back from my cousin because I know he's going on a trip sometime. I'm not sure if it's before the 4th or after, but if so, maybe I'll host my own little cookout. Who knows?
By yourself, with yourself, you're like, would I like a hamburger? Yes, I would. Would I like mustard
while I'm outside drinking beers and waving at all the neighbors, yes, I'm talking to myself. Happy 4th of July, folks.
Having some brewskis,
yeah.
Just living your best life.
USA,
USA, USA.
Hashtag America.
Well, our borders are getting super close to being open here in Ontario. Yay. We are almost at 80% vaccinated for first shots.
That's
and
amazing.
29% for double. I booked my second vaccine for July 5th, and appointments are going like hotcakes. Ontario, we don't need no incentive, okay? We don't need no fucking Krispy Kreme donuts. We're all like, yeah, sign me up. It's crazy. So definitely, I think we're en route for our borders officially being open for more tourism stuff, I would say by the end of July, hopefully August. Are you looking at the stats for Michigan right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we're at because I keep getting different numbers
now,
all the time.
Do you have to discount the people that have been eaten by the wrong turn people up in the UP?
I mean, if they're vaccinated, we're counting them.
If they're cannibal vaccinated, they're like, I
Yeah.
don't want to catch no COVID when I'm eating other people.
I'll say apparently I'm reading this. Over 50% of Michigan is got the first shot, and 47% is fully vaccinated.
Boo! You guys had the vaccine longer than we did. Boo!
Yeah.
This has only been since May. They opened up for people, like everyone, to get their first shot after May 20th. And like we're already almost at 80% in this province. We'll pass it by tomorrow. Like we'll pass it for sure.
Well, that's because Canadians believe in science, and Michigan is like, well, I'll say kind of in political way. Half of the state is Trump supporters, and I don't feel half.
Why don't you just say the truth? Half of them are Hills Have Eyes cannibals, and that's why.
That's true.
So they should be more concerned. I bet you there are the ones getting vaccinated because they don't want to eat no COVID people.
That's a good point.
Like if they're not picky and they eat someone, they want to make sure they're vaccinated.
That's true.
Honestly, I think because we've had so many lockdowns, Ontario's like # no more lockdowns. So everyone's like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Right.
For there not to be a fucking lockdown.
That way we could have more than just patios open.
And I booked to go to Canada's Wonderland, which is an amusement park up here in August. So I'm going to see if I don't chicken out and go on some of the really big coasters. Maybe I'll put some videos to the Friday Nightmares podcast of me peeing my pants on rides. That would be great.
I don't see you chickening out. You're an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, dude, like, but I'm getting old. Like there was one ride there. I went on with my ex-husband years ago, and we got off, and it was like a huge size coaster. Like I'm talking like they call it the Behemoth. And at one time, now they built a new roller coaster, which is the largest in the world. Every year,
really,
they build a new roller coaster every other year to make it the largest in the world. And this was like back in 2000, and I think it was like 14 or 15, and it was the largest in the world at that time. I got off that ride and I had to have like a sit down and water and rest to like recuperate because I was like so overwhelmed by the ride. Like this is not like a regular fucking roller coaster.
I'm looking up images of the Behemoth right now, and holy shit.
Look up Leviathan or Yukon Rider. Those are the other big rides that they have there. Yukon Rider, how fucking #Canadian is that?
That is hilarious.
Oh my God, it makes me want to vomit. But yeah, so it's crazy shit, like crazy. I've always wanted to go to Darien Lake, never had a chance. Even though it's smaller.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I know. I'm telling you, man.
No.
Like, I know you wouldn't even go near that because you're afraid of heights.
Yeah. Like
right?
It would take a lot of encouraging me to do it.
You would take a lot of bowls. Poor Scotty would be like, good thing it's legal here. Scotty would be high as a fucking kite. He wouldn't be able to see right. He'd be like just comatose on the ride as it goes through. Drooling and shit. And the spits like flying behind, hitting the person behind him. Oh man. What a visual that we got for everybody here. So welcome to summer. Welcome to summer 2021. Hopefully you guys are having a good summer, better than last summer, living your best lives. Scotty may even have some friends come visit him. Not me, because I don't want to cross the border into Michigan. Only 50% of them have been vaccinated. But you have some other friends that might come visit you. Is that correct?
Yeah, possibly, yes.
Right. So that's nice. That's nice that they care.
Yeah.
They're good friends, better friends than I am. And I'm like, it's so funny because my friend Ann sent me an article about like, oh, look, borders are going to open soon. You could go see Scott. My response, Scott will come here first before before I go there.
Well, and you already know I am excited as hell to come visit you because I want to get out of my country. It just
this will be your first time out of the USA.
Yeah.
You'll be driving across the border going, USA, USA. And then you'll have to cross over the border and be like, nothing.
Oh, because Canada.
Yes. I will embarrass you everywhere we go that I can. Any chance I have to introduce you as an American, you better fucking believe I'm going to do it. So I know.
Not sure I like that.
Angry Scott. UP. Wrong term.
God damn it. He's such a smart ass.
I know. Like, you can't win. You can't even go on a vacation without me making fun of it. Like, it's just because I'm jelly. That's all it is. You know, let's be real.
It's true.
That's all it is, right? Like, I'm just jelly. So, okay, last thing I'll share before we move into our 2021 watches. So hair salon. So we just moved into stage 2 in Ontario. They moved it up because we're doing so good in vaccine. So at stage 2 in Ontario, hair salons can open. They literally got the word at noon today that hair salons could open. By 2:00, my hair salon was blowing up my phone. Hey, Heather, you want to rebook that appointment you had back in April? Like I felt like the hair salon was like a stalker that I like swiped on Tinder, and like we never ended up going out because of the lockdown. And now it's like, hey, what you doing next Saturday?
What you got going on?
You want to come for a haircut? I know you haven't been getting no haircut, have you? Which could be the case because a lot of stylists here have been going to people's homes, which I don't blame them. You got to do what you got to do to make money.
You want a haircut and chill?
Yeah, right. So they're all like, you gonna come in, or you've been seeing another hairdresser behind our back? Like it was just very so I'm very excited. I have a haircut booked on July 3rd, and that night I'll be going out to Niagara Falls to wave hi to Dave C on the other side of the border and drink excessively at a place I love called Taco and Tequila. And it has the oversized drinks. Remember the oversized drinks they had last year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when I come, we got to go there.
We should go there just for a drink.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Right. So you can be like, now this is American size. No, it's Canadian shit.
This is regular size in America.
You'd be like, this is regular size. You guys got big gulps here. I need to feed my entire family of 6 with my big gulp iced tea. Or sorry, sweet tea. Is it sweet tea or iced tea for you?
No, sweet tea's a southern thing. Iced tea for me.
Right, sorry.
I do the healthier one.
Yes. Oh yeah, so much healthier for sure. There's no sugar in iced tea.
No, right, not like this is unsweetened iced tea. So yeah, there is no sugar.
Ew. That's what you drink?
Yeah.
Oh.
I love regular iced tea.
Why?
It just tastes good.
Oh, yuck.
That's why I call it my dirty water. Because that's
oh, no kidding. That's all it basically is. Why don't you just go out to a puddle? You can have the same fucking taste. You know what Sandra Kane is saying right now, who's our friend from the States? He's like, he doesn't even want to hang out with you anymore because you don't drink sweet tea. And I am sure because Sandra is super Southern, he loves sweet tea. Absolutely.
Well, to be fair, I used to drink sweet tea a lot, and I cut that out because I was too much sugar.
I don't even know if Sandra likes sweet tea, but yes, I could see why. There's a lot of sugar in sweet tea, but regular iced tea? Ah, wow, very British of you. Yeah, that's the British iced tea.
Well, they drink it hot. I don't like.
No, there's cool iced tea you can get. Cool tea. The cool's down. I got it once. I was on a cruise ship with a bunch of Brits.
Oh, okay.
And that's what they served. This is years ago. Like we're talking like when I was 17. Well, just a bibby, Heather.
Just a bibby.
So we talked a lot because Scott and I haven't watched a lot of 2021 films because I'm too busy working and doing grad school and not summer series. Scott and I are the only 2 human beings in the world that are not doing summer series. I don't even know how we could because I couldn't watch 24 movies.
There's no fucking way I could do it.
Like I'm trying between the movies we watch and then Slumber Party Massacre and like, I don't know, just movies in general, trying to keep up to Brandon and his 2021 watches. I just, there's no way. I wouldn't even have an argument. They'd be like, hey, Heather, what about this movie? I'd be like, nah, I don't know. I didn't watch it. Next one.
Yeah, I was going to say like, it's just been a struggle for me because I just don't have a lot of time. Watch 4 movies for this podcast, and then I try to squeeze in a 2021. Like hell, for tonight, I once again don't have an older film to talk about. That's just
well,
how
you
it
do
is.
Because you've seen the one I watched.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like one that I have that I haven't seen before, type thing.
You know what? It doesn't really matter because I bring the knowledge.
You do bring the knowledge. I'm just the looks.
You are. You're just a straight out handsome looks.
And now that thanks to Darren, we now have the 1-800-SMOKE-SHOW hotline up and running.
Absolutely, yes. How many callers have you got at this point?
I've gotten 5. All wrong calls, though. All wrong numbers,
but that's okay, Scott. You know what? Just like one day, one of our dozens listeners will call you. I'm sure.
I'm waiting for it, and they'll be so disappointed. Just like in my sex life.
I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for 1 minute. With all the interest you get at times, my friend, I know that's not the case. I just winked at Scott. No one can see it, but I gave him the good old winky. Wink.
Ooh, you gave me the winky. Oh, now that's what we're talking about.
Can you believe this has been 37 episodes? Oh my God. If you're still listening, thank you.
Yes, I can believe it's been 37 episodes. It feels like 50.
I know. How does it like splitting heads and like other people like court psyop and his like, is it his friend Matt, right? Matt?
Yep.
Like even what, 600 episodes or something? Like
I can't remember. I think
like a lot, right?
Oh, they're over 3. Yeah, I can't remember, but it's been one every week for 6 years. Yeah, so over 300 episodes.
And we're like, we can't do the math because we don't know how much that is. 52 weeks in a year times 6.
Yeah, that's over 300.
Like, can you imagine? You still haven't shit to talk about? I don't know if we'll make it to that point. We'll see what we can do. No promises.
I was gonna say, well, since we have cut down on the movies that we are watching for the show, it does at least give us options to revisit topics down the road if we wanted to.
Yeah.
And plus, we keep coming up with new ideas, anyways.
Oh, we're just so smart. I keep coming
Hey,
up.
I brought up the idea for the next
one
episode.
idea. You bring
Hey,
one idea,
and I do got another one like that.
Oh,
I do have one I was gonna bring up to you if there's enough horror films that cover that topic. But yeah.
Well, there probably is. We just might have to go international. Because
Yeah.
there's always shit international that we can find that's fucked up.
That's
Always.
true.
So I guess we'll get into our 2021s because we got to get to like these beach horror films. And now I got all these beach songs in my head. I got Surf City. I got Twistin' by the Pool by Dire Straits. You know, Twistin' by the Pool. Oh, you probably don't know Dire Straits, but I really like Dire Straits. Yeah. Cruise, or was it Cruising USA?
Everybody's gone surfing. Surfing USA.
That one. Yeah, isn't that Beach Boys?
I think so, yeah.
People are like, this is a fucking Beach Boys. He just made someone's shit list. So 2021s. I believe you watched this movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Queen of Spades. It's a 2021 film. It's from Canada. That's right, Sander. It's from Canada. It's a 91-minute runtime. And it's honestly better than I thought it was going to be. I honestly didn't think this was going to be that great of a film. And then I watched it. I kind of watched it on a whim. Now, spoiler, this was supposed to be a theatrical release. So there are some places where I guess it did get a theatrical release. It's available to rent on iTunes, Google, Microsoft Store, and YouTube. And basically, it's similar to the idea of Bloody Mary, the idea that a curse can occur if you do a certain ritual in a mirror and something does happen. I thought the special effects in this, for being a low budget film, were pretty fucking good. I thought the acting was quite good. I thought the twist in it was quite good. I overall, I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. At a 91-minute runtime, this to me was a surprise hit of this year. Personally, how much I enjoyed it. What do you think, Scotty?
Yeah, I think this one was yes, because you recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, it's Canadian, so of course Heather automatically has to.
I automatically love it. Automatically 5 stars, just because it was made in Canada, right?
Yep. But I watched it just because I like when you recommend something, I definitely have to check it out because like obviously you've been watching everything and helping me just kind of figure out what I can watch, and I'm glad I did. This was for low budget. It's actually like really good, has some creepy moments, and yeah, like everything you said about this film I agree with. Like it was a nice surprise that I did not expect. Like
great ghost story.
Yeah,
great low budget ghost story done well. Not a bunch of jump scares that were unnecessary. Good build up to shit that happened. Good character development. The young actors in this were very good for the roles they played, and all of them have some acting credits to their names. Like none of these people were like, oh, this is my first movie. Like they all had backgrounds, so I think that goes to help as well.
Yeah, and I was just saying they all seem to have pretty good chemistry together, which is really nice to see.
Yeah,
like I didn't feel like they were just like acting off of a wall. They were actually working with each other and like actually reacting to each other.
No, and I think this is worth a $4.99, $5.99 rental. I not everyone's gonna love it. Not everyone's gonna like it as much as me. But out of the 2021 movies I've watched this year, this is a sleeper hit that I think is quite good. You know, if you dig ghost stories, you dig the whole Bloody Mary kind of thing, only with a different spin to it, you'll probably like this. It is lower budget, so don't be walking in there expecting like, I don't know, a Blumhouse film with like over the top special effects. You're not going to get that. But if you like subtle special effects and subtle hauntings, then this is good. It's not like The Conjuring 3, which was basically the glorified haunted house in Niagara. Like seriously, for like fucking an hour and a half, which is fine. That's a Conjuring film.
Yeah, exactly. It's
right?
What you go in expecting.
It's what you go in expecting that you're going to see. So do you want to introduce this next bad boy? Because I know you did watch this one as well.
Oh, yeah. Did you say where Queen of Spades is available?
I did at the beginning, but it's YouTube, Microsoft Store,
okay.
Google, and iTunes.
All right. So yeah, the next film is the last movie I've watched from 2021, like on this list, unfortunately, just because time constraints, blah, blah, blah. But this
He's too busy playing video games,
and then taking care of my doggo.
And talking to hot babes online. You have been, actually. That's not wrong. You have been.
I mean, yeah, I have been talking to Brandon.
I know which hot babe you've been
I know.
talking to, and that's all that matters. Anyway, continue.
Yep. All right. So the film that we're going to talk about here is Untitled Horror Movie. It's basically, I'm not sure if this was filmed during the pandemic or if they were like, it's just the Zoom social media style found footage type horror film. But this out of the two that I watched, this is definitely my favorite of the two. I had so much fun with this one. It has it's a horror comedy in a way.
Yep.
Like it has some comedic elements, but it's also like just a well done story. It has quite a few recognizable faces and a couple cameo appearances, like especially at the end with Aisha Tyler from Whose Line Is It Anyways. I was like, oh shit.
Oh man, it's fucking funny.
But like, yeah, this was great.
It's such a sarcastic, like actors being dicks and like Donnas. And did you recognize the guy that was blonde was from the Truth or Dare, the non Bloomhouse one?
He wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like was he the doctor or the one that was
No, he was not the doctor. He was in the one you keep messing these two up. He was the one that found the haunted house and took everybody there to play the game.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But no, I this movie I thought was jokes. Like honestly, like I thought it hit right to my sense of humor. It's definitely geared towards people in our age group though. And I would say people in their 20s or 30s. Like it is definitely if you're older, it just may not connect with you because of it's like when we watch other movies from other generations, they don't connect with us, right? Because we don't get the cultural references and stuff. But this movie to me, if you're in your 20s or 30s, this movie is fucking hilarious. And you enjoy stuff like Saturday Night Live and other fucking satire comedy, you'll enjoy this. It was funny.
Yeah, because it was funny, but it also had some creepy moments to it as well.
Yeah.
Like it was like legit like like I talk about like that blend of horror and comedy where the comedy is just like through some occasional dialogue, not no silly slapstick stuff.
My favorite is the main character. So I think it's Kelly was in 47 Meters Down. She played as one of the blonde. She brings it up. She's like, I was in like one of the best horror movies of 2017.
That's right. She does. Oh my God. I didn't recognize, like, holy crap.
Oh my God. And then she was also in The Messengers too. Do you remember the first Messengers?
Never seen it.
You never saw The Messengers?
Nope.
Oh man. Oh, The Messengers. Shit. Yeah. Those were some movies anyway. And she was in Mean Girls too. So she's been in a lot of like.
Wait, there's a Mean Girls too?
Oh yeah, there's a Mean Girls too. Of course, there's a Mean Girls too. Of course, there is. Anything you can make money off of. So yeah, there was definitely some like she was funny because she basically said that she was the biggest star, and she kind of was actually.
Right.
It's so funny. But yeah, fun little film. They basically film it on their laptops / phones. But it's not chintzy. Like it's definitely social media horror, but and found footage, but it's fun. I think it's gonna maybe win an award for me if we do found footage this year. Like the one that has the most other competition is Safe at Home. Like that was a pretty fucking solid film too. But like this one was just jokes. Like it was just really, really, really funny.
Yeah, this one was just pure, solid, just straight up entertainment. Like I had so much fun with it. Like I didn't know what I was thinking, like what I was gonna think going into this film, but like I didn't expect to enjoy it nearly as much as I did.
I really think really say what it was about. It's basically about a group of unemployed actors that are going to make a horror movie. Yeah. And it's going to be like a low budget fucking horror movie. And it's a found footage movie. Right. And then shenanigans occur. So it's a lot of fun. And then I guess it's available on Google, Vudu, YouTube, and Microsoft Store. So check it out on there if you get a chance to. Now, Scotty, you didn't watch this one, right? You said you only watched the two.
Yeah, this is the next one on my list because this one and I think actually 3 of the 4 here you recommended to me. I need to watch.
SuperDeep. We'll get to that one soon. This one is Whoa. My body's like whoa, and my girl's like whoa. So Whoa is a 2021 film. It is 84-minute runtime, and it feels like an 84-minute runtime. Basically, it's about a family who is dealing with the grief of their father, and the son is living in the home, and things are not as they seem. So if you enjoyed things like The Dark and the Wicked, The Lodge, what was that other one that came out this year that we watched that we thought was kind of slow, but a lot of people loved it?
Same Mod?
No, the one where they live in like a forest and like someone has Alzheimer's. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember
Satyr.
Oh yeah, Satyr. Oh yeah.
Satyr. Yeah. So if you like that, you'll probably dig this. I personally enjoyed this one a little bit more than those. With the exception of Dark and the Wicked. I still like Dark and the Wicked more. It's a good little story. The acting's really good. You definitely get a lot of character development in this. It's a good little kind of ghost, like dealing with demon story and how things end up. You really got to be paying attention though to this one. If you aren't fully focused on the film, you're not going to catch it. And if you enjoy slow burns and the films I've listed, then I would say check it out. It's available on iTunes, Google, Vudu, YouTube, and Microsoft Store for rent. And I would say if you like the stuff I'm referring to, $3.99 to $5.99 is fine. If you don't, skip it. You're probably not going to have it on your end of year list anyway.
Yeah, because this is one you told me that I should definitely at least check out.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy the relationship piece of it, and it moves a little bit quicker. And I kind of want to see your perspective on it.
Okay.
Whenever you get around to watching movies again, at some point.
In 20 million years.
In 20 million years, exactly. Buyer Beware is a Korean film that is basically about, it's available on Netflix. It's basically about a real estate agent who works for this real estate firm that their prime target for homes are homes where there has been murders happen in them. And of course, if we know anything from Asian horror, we know that when murders happen in a house, bad juju comes with it. So if you enjoy Asian ghost stories, you'll probably enjoy this. But I will say this is not as creepy as other ones. So if you really things like Ju-on or One Missed Call or Dark Water, you're probably not going to love this one. It's a little more soap opera-y. But if you're looking to maybe get into Asian horror and this is kind of your tiptoe into it, you'll probably enjoy it. The acting's decent enough. It's a fairly easy watchable time and available on Netflix. You got nothing to really lose if you have Netflix. It is available in dubbing and it's available in subtitle. So whatever you prefer. Then we have SuperDeep. Super Deep. I'm trying to see. So SuperDeep, I watched Shudder. So SuperDeep was a Russian movie that came out in Russia in 2020, but just over here in good old North America in 2021. This is very much creature feature isolation horror. Basically, this has Scotty written all over it and big exclamation mark. If you like The Thing meets Into the Earth, if you like anything that has to do with isolation and like going to the earth core and then running into shit and some crazy monster shit, you will dig this a lot.
I like the sound of that.
I'll be honest, the movie's fairly predictable. If you've seen one of these movies, you've seen them all. They usually have the same type of ending, but it was a very fun watch. So I would recommend it for people. It is available on the Shutter. It is available on the Shutter Canada, the Shutter United States, AMC Plus, and Shutter Amazon. And finally, since I've been doing all this heavy lifting, fuck.
Well, you are the star of the show.
No, I'm not. That's actually incorrect. The Smoke Show is the star of the show, and I'm just your lovable sidekick.
I am the meme of the show. You are the star of the show.
You are Yogi Bear. I am Boo Boo.
Give me the picnic basket, the Boo Boo.
And we're both running around. We would, what would happen if we got those picnic baskets? We just sit there and eat them.
Hell yeah, we would.
We totally get caught. We'd be like, you guys.
Well, hopefully, most people having picnics bring a bottle of wine or something too. Hell yeah, we would steal that, drink a bottle of wine. Hell yeah.
Bottle, Scott. Like, I know it's been a while since we've hung out, but a bottle.
Well, no. I'm saying, like, if we're stealing from someone that brought a bottle of wine, we steal their bottle of wine.
But we have to steal a lot of wine.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, come on now.
We're going to steal more than one picnic basket if we're going to be Yogi and Boo Boo.
Like, let's get this straight. It's going to be like Yogi and Boo Boo meet marijuana and booze. That's what it's going to be. Anyway, speaking of censoring alcohol and drugs, this movie is called Censor. And let me say, this was a surprise hit for me. I walked into this film, I watched the trailer, it was a Sundance movie, and I thought, you know what, this looks a little artsy, but let's see how it goes. Not a lot of artistic films have really, done it to me this year. I've been leaning more towards horror comedies this year as films that I've enjoyed more, some really good ghost stories, a lot of low budget stuff I've enjoyed. I think the highest budget movie I enjoyed so far is Spiral. I haven't, now mind you, I haven't seen a lot either. So like, take that with a grain of salt. But Censor, holy fuck, this movie is an 84-minute runtime and beautiful, beautifully filmed, beautifully acted. I love how the story develops. I love the artistic to it. This to me is artistic with substance.
Nice.
And I like it much like I enjoyed, let's see, I did like Hansel and Gretel more than you did last year. And what was another artistic film I really enjoyed from last year? Oh, I can't remember now. They all kind of blur together.
The Lodge.
Yes, absolutely. That was my number one. Number one, Lodge. Number one. Because it was filmed in Canada. So no matter what, I had to like it.
Yeah, I had to love it.
Right. But the Censor, fuck, it's good. It's right up there. Actually, the stylist I would consider a little artistic too. But a little more easy to follow. The Censor is so good. So good. Basically, it talks about video nasties and censorship in Britain and one woman's struggle with her past and her role as a censor. And fuck, is it good. I loved it. Dave C, I think you'll enjoy this film. I think you should watch it. If you don't like it, I apologize in advance, but I think you're really going to dig it. I think you guys should cover this film on Exploding Heads. It'd be interesting to hear your perspectives on it. The Exploding Head podcast on Legion's Network, where you can just join for $3 a month. Anyway.
And I just have to say, I just looked to see where it's ranked on your list, and holy shit. Okay. I'm not going to say where. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spoil it, but holy shit.
Fine. This is June. My list will change dramatically. I don't update. I usually just put the movies I really like in my top 30 to 50, or sorry, 1 to 50 as the year goes on. That list gets bigger, and then the stuff I like kind of moves down. And then I just pick stuff from there and decide what my top 10 will be. So actually what's listed there will not be accurate by the end of the year. It's just a representation of what I've enjoyed so far this year. I will be honest, I do not find this year as strong as I did with 2020, but I will say that this is the year of indie horror. There is some fucking solid indie horror last year. Like The Special came out last year, which was an exceptionally well done indie horror film.
Yeah.
But between the Djinn and the Queen of Spades and some other stuff that's come out, like this has been a great year. And yet again, some awesome international films. All My Friends Are Dead. Some really strong horror comedies this year.
Yeah.
Slack, Psycho Gorman, Betty Loves You. Like, this is the year of horror comedy, and I think that that's great. Honestly, even the ones like the Mafia one that was kind of like so was still entertaining, was still good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good horror comedies, and we saw one at the beginning of the year that was super low budget. Sorry, I Killed You. That was still really
that
funny.
was fun.
Right. So like, I think that, we may not have the same quality of films that we've had from other years in certain categories, but when it comes to indie horror and when it comes to comedies, I think we're really nailing it this year. So, and I really enjoyed Censor. So I really encourage people to check it out. It is available on iTunes, Google, Microsoft Store, YouTube, and Cineplex here in Canada. So, if this was regular times, it's probably been released to the movie theater, but not all theaters are open right now in Canada. So
Canada.
So that's the heavy lifting I've had to do for this episode.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
My God. So let's get into our older films and the one that I'm going to talk about. And Scott's watched it. So I don't know how I skipped over this film, but I watched Club Dread for the first time about a week ago, and holy fuck, this movie is funny.
So good.
Like, I was like, can we do this for our episode? And then I was like, nah, we should save it for like a resort, because we could do like Turistas and Club Dread and some other shit as like a resort horror film kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, actually, this is kind of leaning towards one of the ideas I had that I was going to bring up to you.
See, that I already had in my head that you stole. Like
yep, I siphoned it from your brain before you knew it.
Siphon it from my brain. See, you're like brains, like scanners. And you're scanning my brain right now.
I'm more like Return of the Living Dead. More brains.
And then you come up to me and you're like, brains, and then like there's no brains, and you like have to walk away because you're like, no brains.
Oh, need more brains.
No, but fuck, this movie's great. Oh my God, Club Dread. And the guy with the braids. Oh my God, who is the guy with the braids? I gotta look him up. I can't even say it. Chandrasekhar, like he plays Putman. Oh my God, that character, I was fucking dying the entire time.
Oh, it's freaking great because it's just it's got a lot of the casting crew because it's the Broken Lizards. So they've like done like Super Troopers and all that stuff, and it's got a lot of the same actors in that film as well. And oh my god, it's freaking hilarious.
It's so funny. Like, it's literally
Yes.
the best. Like, from the moment they show up on the island to when he's gonna have a threesome with those two chicks, and then they don't, and then like this killer stalking them. And my favorite part of this is, I said to you, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's like Jimmy Buffett, Bill Paxton's character. He's just like
Bill Paxton,
right? Bill Paxton. Sorry, it's just like Coconut. What's his name? Coconut Pete.
Yeah, Coconut Pete.
And then at one side, he's singing around the fire, and he's like, "All right, anyone have any requests?" And some chick's like, "Play Margaritaville." He's like, "Oh, you must mean like pina colada. Get me another pina colada." And she's like, no, I mean Margaritaville. And she's like, no, you must mean get me another pina colada, or whatever the song is. And she's like, no. And he's like, goes off at how Jimmy Buffett sold his music and all this other shit. Oh my God, I was dying. And I actually didn't really know who the killer was. I'll be honest. I had no idea.
Yeah. It was a nice little twist.
It was a nice little twist. It was fun, easy to watch, entertaining, something that if I'm ever having like a bad day, I can throw on Club Dread and just laugh at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and I was actually sad when characters died. Like, I was actually sad. You know that it's comedy, but you do get attached to people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, because it's been a while since I've watched it, but man, I still find this movie just pure entertainment. Like,
yeah,
I've watched it at least like 3, maybe 4 times, and you watching it for the first time makes me want to go back and revisit it. But yeah, I'll save it for when we do a resorts episode.
Oh man, I loved it. It made my little Heather heart smile. So that's all we got. Oh, I watched Battle Royale, which is the original Hunger Games, kind of.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Battle Royale from what year was it? 2000. Very popular, very big time. I liked it. It was fun. It's sad though,
Yeah,
it's kind of depressing.
It's a good story, but it's kind of depressing.
Like typical Asian horror.
Yeah, right. Once again, punching you in the gut.
Right. So I guess we'll break into what we've been listening to. I'll let you go first with your Scott, just so I can take a break from all this heavy lifting.
All right. Well, let me pull it up because I've only got a chance to listen to one episode so far because I have been trying to find something new to talk about because I've pretty much run the gamut of all the horror podcasts I listen to. This one is the Horror Friendly Podcast, and they just started this show in January 2021, so it's pretty new, but they've already got I think 11 episodes released, but it's a all-women podcast. It's Katie, Tell, and Charlie.
Whoa! There's another all-women podcast?
Oh, sorry to burst your bubble.
There can only be one. Highlander.
But yeah, I listened to their first episode, which covered Scream from 1996, and they are pretty damn entertaining. They made some good jokes, and they all seem like they are close friends, like that have at least known each other for a while. I don't have a lot to say because, like I said,
do they drink?
That I'm not sure. I have to listen to more episodes.
Do they drink White Claw?
I'm not sure. Can't tell you.
I'm assessing whether they'll be friends with me or not.
Yeah, like I say, I'm going to continue listening to more of their episodes because I enjoy what they did so far, and they all have great chemistry together, and yep, they are just a very fun podcast to listen to.
Well, I will accept that there is another all-female podcast that talks about horror. I'll accept that.
You'll allow it?
I'll allow it as long as they invite me on to drink White Claw and not do much, because I only carry the weight on this podcast. Every other podcast I'm on, I am the dead weight.
That's why I'd be the dead weight, because I'm used to just carrying it all the time.
But for what other podcasts? All the things you do are with me.
Exactly. Shh.
Yep. Let's not ruin this with words, Heather.
Yeah. Shush.
Mine is continue with the Parcast network, but this one is Unexplained Mysteries. Okay. Ooh. Like, this shit's cool. So they talked about the dancing plague of 1554, where people went crazy and wouldn't stop dancing and they passed out and died.
I heard about that.
Right? They talk about the Loch Ness monster Nessie.
Ooh, good old Loch.
They talk about the Bermuda Triangle.
Question though, with the Loch Ness monster, did they talk about how the Loch Ness monster kept showing up as like a Girl Scout asking for tree fitty?
Diamond monster.
God damn it, monster! I ain't giving you no money.
No, $3.50. No,
I gave him
they
$1
don't do
yesterday.
that. That doesn't happen.
Oh.
They talk more about the mystery, the legend, and the marketing that comes within tourism. So it's a really fun little podcast. Some of their episodes are single episodes in length. The first one I listened to was about two young women who got lost in a rainforest in Panama and trying to establish what happened to them and never really knowing for sure. And it's some really, really cool shit. The episodes are anywhere between 41 minutes, or there's sometimes two-parters where there's one that's 40 minutes and another one that's 40 minutes. So it's very digestible. If you want to learn more about unsolved mysteries, if you're like me and you're like, what is more about Loch Ness? What is this thing about Bermuda Triangle? Why does Scotty love Gremlins so much? There's some really great episodes that go over this. And
everyone should know why Scotty loves Gremlins.
No one actually does. You just have this unhealthy exception. To the point that my friends that don't even listen to the podcast are like, wow, Scott really likes Gremlins, huh? Like, just from the shit you post in the page. Like, they all know.
It's because Gremlins is everything. Everyone loves Gremlins.
All hail Gremlins. All hail Gizmo.
All hail Gizmo. His fluffy, fluffy bum bum.
And his fluffy bum bum. So check out these two awesome horror podcasts. And we're going to take a brief break here from one of our many friends at the Legion Podcast Network, which if you haven't subscribed today, why don't you monsey over to the Legion Podcast page and click subscribe. So you can follow all of the podcasts. Like, I'm trying to be sexy like Vanessa, because she does that opening of and just a little contagious. I fucking want to be her. Like, seriously, Vanessa's my hero. For reals talk. For
realsies.
For realsies. All right. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
This'll keep it quiet. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. You caught me cutting a new show. I'm Bo Ransdell, and I'm one of the many creators you can find on Legion Podcasts. I said quiet! My fellow podcasters and I work hard to bring you the best in horror podcasting, but that comes at a cost. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Not that, but also yes. No, what I'm getting at is that there are server costs, costs for good microphones and software for editing, all the things that make our shows, fun to listen to. And you can help. If you're enjoying the shows on legionpodcasts.com or in the Legion Network available on iTunes and Stitcher, just about anywhere you can download a podcast, really, you can help us out and get a little something for your trouble at patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. For just $2 a month, you get a pair of movie commentaries exclusive to Patreon, and for $5, you can also join us for a monthly screening of a movie. All of that available on patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. We appreciate it, and thank you for listening. Now, back to the cutting room.
And welcome back. And we're going to head ourselves over to the beach. Scotty, do you like going to the beach?
Oh, I freaking love going to the beach. It's I definitely miss going. I should say I haven't been to the ocean since I was like 10 years old. So I want to go to one of those beaches at some point as an adult.
Did you free Willy? Is that why?
Yes.
Were you that kid from the 1995 movie?
Yeah, well, I did free my Willy and got in a lot of trouble.
Oh my! You had to go there. You had to go there. This is a family-friendly podcast.
Family-friendly now, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Depends what you do with your family. But anyway, you haven't been to the ocean since you were 10. Hey, Serbian film. You haven't been to the ocean since you were 10. But you would like to go back again, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Like as an adult, I'd actually be able to appreciate it more. But yeah, during the summer, I try to at least find a couple of beaches around here to at least hit up at least one or two during the summer if I can. And then, of course, while I'm in the UP, we go to Lake Superior and wander the beach there because Lake Superior is just a fucking beautiful lake and it's just really nice beach.
You know what they say, Lake Superior never gives up her dead when the winds of November come early.
It's true.
It's that Gordon Lightfoot song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, right? The Great Lakes are quite powerful, actually. Yeah, I love the beach. I love going to beaches. I love going to Wasaga Beach, or Wasaga, I don't know, however you want to fucking pronounce it, which is a big beach here in Ontario. I love going to Sable Beach, beautiful beach that's out near Owen Sound, which is closer to the UP. And I also am going to a beach over my holidays. I'm going to a little place called Nickel Beach. which is about an hour away, and you can drive your car up onto the sand. The reason why they're doing that is to control how many people are on the beach at any given time. And I love swimming. I grew up near the water. I'm very comfortable in the water. I enjoy body surfing. I love the ocean. Favorite ocean, Dominican Republic, for sure. I've been to 2 resorts in the Dominican Republic, and both times the waves were epic. The water was nice. I love body surfing on waves. It's my thing.
Interesting.
I love it. I love body surfing. And I've been to Mexico and Cuba as well. Cuba's beaches are, people say they're the most beautiful in the world. They're fine, but they're not wavy. So if you're looking for just like a plain ocean, it's great. Mexico depends where you go, but Dominican Republic, like just beautiful, beautiful beaches. So I love the beach. I love it. I love going. I love having yum drinks. I remember when I was younger, my parents used to take me to this place called Shirks and Shore, and it was like a trailer thing. So you would go stay at like these cottages, but they were called trailers, but they were actually cottages. They were really, really nice. And we go down to the beach. And I'm so jealous that this doesn't exist now, because Scotty, you can imagine the good times you would have with me and my friends. So people could drive on the beach, drink, park their tents, and just have food. And they had like a bar there, and people could blast their music and play volleyball.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Like you just fucking ripped it up the entire time, right? So you would have that going on, then you would have families, right? But my parents were big partiers. So like they would like stay like right as it was getting late, and they would have a couple of drinks, and like people are always so nice. Like I'm sure people are like, that's probably not the best environment, Heather. Probably wasn't, but like I had a good time. And I remember being like, oh man, I hope when I'm older, I can come hang out with all these cool older people, right? Because they're listening to music and they're, drinking and having a good time playing volleyball. And then they shut it down. It's now only for like day use, family only, no partying. I came in the wrong generation. So
that's a shame.
Right. But yeah, I love going to the beach. It's always so much fun. It's such a summer thing. And I guess because we both live in areas where we do get snow and cold weather from, November till about March, we salvage the days that we can get outside and when it's hot enough to go in the water.
Oh, absolutely. Like even if it's just like kind of chilly in the air and the water's too cold, I'll still at least walk into the water and just like, because Lake Michigan and Lake Superior are some of the coldest lakes I've ever been to, but they are still just so beautiful, and I just love being beachside.
I agree. And Lake Erie's, so I've been to all the Great Lakes except for Lake Michigan, and Lake Erie is the warmest because it's the shallowest. But yeah, no, for sure, I couldn't agree more. It's just such a really nice holiday thing to go do. And I think we're so lucky to live in areas where, it's cold, like we can skate on water and then swim in water.
Right.
Like we're really blessed to have that, in all fairness. Like some people would love to have those kind of different climates. Like when it's Christmas time, it's cold here, what you would want. And then when it's barbecue / cookout season, to make sure everyone feels included, it's hot out, and you can hit the water and stuff like that. It's awesome. So, But where did this all begin, Scotty? Where did it begin? Well, we're going to find out where it began today.
Tell me, Heather. Tell me.
So this is an article from the Washington Post in 2016, and it talks about the weird origins of going to the beach. Like the steam engine, the tin can telephone, and the first vaccine. The modern American beach holiday was actually invented in Britain. You damn traitors. You have Britain to thank. Stop dumping your tea.
Well, as we see, your overlords have taken over.
Right. It's true. They wish they were still overlords. No one gives a fuck about Britain anymore. A beach vacation might seem like the most natural thing in the world, to head to the shore, play in the waves, and splay your limbs out on the sand. But people didn't always consider the beach a place primarily for relaxation and entertainment. After all, the beach can be cold, sandy, wet, dismal, or uncomfortable. These people have clearly had sex on a beach, and they know. That is exactly what it feels like. Then there's the whole prospect of drowning in the sea. Very true. Or lake. Like so many things, the beach vacation actually rose to popularity in Britain in the late 18th century and spread through the world from there. This isn't to say that people avoided the beach entirely before then, but vacation at the beach wasn't a cultural phenomenon. Its origins were tied up with how industrialization was remaking Britain at the time, as well as a popular contemporary medical theories that sound bizarre now. As Danielle Blay wrote in an excellent essay for the Smithsonian.com, earlier periods in history contained few tales of relaxing at the beach. From the 18th century on, the beach stirred fear and anxiety in the popular imagination and was believed that it could be dangerous. But then it also believed that you could like heal from the salt water, which is where the health stuff tied in. I didn't copy that over in the article, so Scott can't see it. But they went on a big thing about how salt water heals. So it went from being
I've heard about
terrified area to like go and bathe in salt water and you'll feel better. Some of the earliest and most influential references to the sea in Western culture came from the Bible, where the ocean is depicted as a mysterious and destructive. It causes the great, what is that, deluge?
Oh, deluge.
Deluge, and appears in Genesis as the great abyss. It is the great abyss, it's true. British women often relied on bathing attendants who would help them with the correct timing and method of bathing, including which part of their body would make contact with the waves. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Only this part made contact with the waves. The bathers would also plunge female patients into the water just as the waves broke, taking care to hold their heads down so to increase the impression of suffocation.
What the hell?
Like tempering steel, these periodic cold baths were seen as a method of toughening up the patients, including young girls who were thought to be dangerously pale. We are going to drown you.
Wow.
And you are going to feel better. So not only is the salt water going to help your skin, we're also going to drown your shit. Like so many things at the time, the seaside vacation became one of Britain's cultural exports and spread it beyond both word of mouth and through Bretonians. By the early 19th century, seaside resorts were springing up in Normandy, south of France, north of Germany, and Scandinavia. By the late 19th century, they had spread to America, first to the New England coast and then gradually to the mid-Atlantic and the South. By the 1960s, airplane package tours had become the rage, leading to the decline of old beach towns like Brighton and Coney Island. But for those who wish to go there, a dip in the sea will still be a good remedy for melancholy. So true.
It is.
So true. And I'm one of those weirdos where I'll be like, the seawater is really good on your skin. Like I am one of those like fucking annoying white people that say that all the time when I go in the ocean, like hands down. And I've been to Boston and I went in the ocean there as well. And I've been to Nova Scotia and I've been to the ocean there, so the Atlantic.
Look at you all well-traveled and shit.
I know, I'm so woke. So yeah, it's you know, that's colder than it is in the Dominican Republic. I'll tell you that much.
But, I believe it.
The Dominicans warm all year round. They'll be like, "Oh, it's cold here," and you're like, "What?"
This feels like cold. The water's boiling. I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? But as you can see, beaches have become part of our pop culture. So what happens when things become part of our pop culture, Scotty?
The horror genre likes to take it and twist it into its own wicked stories to tell.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do.
And we have 4 of those movies right here.
We sure do. So why don't you bring us in with number 1?
All right. So the first film we will be talking about of this theme is Blood Beach from 1981. Policemen, played by John Saxon, are baffled when people disappear, sucked into the beach by a sand creature.
Dun, dun, dun.
Very simple plot, because that is exactly what this movie is kind of a I guess they would be a ripoff of Jaws in a way. Like they even like poke fun of like something like where it was what did John Saxon say? He said, now that it's safe, it's finally safe to go back in the water, but we cannot get there.
We can't get anywhere near it. I enjoyed the opening of this. The woman's walking on the beach with her dog and walking along. The guy swims to work every day, which is my favorite. This random awesome dude that was training to be an Olympic swimmer and just like leaps out into the ocean. And she gets sunk into the sand, which I thought was pretty good special effects for 1981. You know, and her dog's barking away and, you know, freaking out. And all these people keep disappearing and the police can't figure it out. And I thought that it was really cool because they didn't use special effects like crazy shit that we'll see later of like tentacles or whatever coming out of the sand. It was more just like people sinking like quicksand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was very similar to quicksand. And the occasional, like, what would you say, gore because of what's underneath the sand that you do not see.
There was a lot more mystery to this, and I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed like the little bit of the commentary. So a young lady dies on the beach. She's laying on the beach, and she gets severely injured. Sorry. So one woman's being buried in sand at one point, and she's like, no, the sand hurts. It hurts. And people are like, all right, whatever. You're just getting bit by like a sand flea or something. She's like, no, it burns. Right. And they get her out, and she's
Her
all
legs
like
are all ripped up
and shit. And the reporters come the next day, and they're all like, oh, aren't you guys nervous to be on the beach? And the people are like, well, it's the best beach around. And like, and it's where all the young people are hanging out. Like, it makes sense, right? This summertime, you want to hang out with your friends, and you're going to go down to the beach where you can, flirt with other people and go in the water and get snacks and drinks from the concessions that are nearby. Like, it really set this up to be, it's a beach town. People here love the beach. They go on the beach, they take shortcuts on the beach, and which is why the creature seems to attack when, weirdly, either there's tons of people around or nobody around. It's interesting.
It tends to just, it doesn't have a specific thing. It just kind of attacks when it feels like it. Hell, it even attacked the dog late at night and just bit its head off. And like, but yeah, like the thing that I like about this, just like it kind of like, it makes me want to think that Tremors took a cue from this.
Absolutely. I think you're 100% right. I do enjoy the couples that are developed in this. There's a lot of singing. I found this was a thing in 1981 that you would just include singing in the movie. There's a point where one young lady is visiting her boyfriend, and they keep singing the song of "Who walked out when the fire dimmed and had no more booze? It wasn't you. It wasn't me. It wasn't us." But anyway,
so
that's a made up lyric. But there's a lot of times where they'll be like, "Who hanged out till Friday night, drinking on the beers with the boys all night? It wasn't you. It wasn't me. It wasn't us." So anyway, and I'm like, oh man, this is 1980s, and apparently we had to have like a folk song in every single fucking film. But
this is a good way for filler.
It's a good way for filler, right? But then she goes off, and she's like, of course, like some random dude tries to date rape her under a fucking dock.
And this is the way you have to get the titties, I guess, like TNA.
Right? And then like his dick gets eaten by the creature. And
which
I
is
absolutely
awesome.
I want to call him Polly, but it's not Polly. We should probably look up his actual name of what his actual name is. It's not Hoagie. Who's the detective that plays, like, it's the same actor that plays Polly in Rocky? David Hoffman.
Yeah, David Hoffman, duh. Yep.
So man, like David Hoffman, like fuck, he was great.
Yeah, because he was the one that just like was just kind of like the cop that didn't believe anything, was just blowing it off, and like till he actually
and then when he did believe, he's like, yeah, there's a fucking problem here. I'll talk to the press.
Yeah.
So he was the no nonsense, no bullshit. I even like the drama with the town hall. Like this movie actually was more than just a basic little slasher. Like it had this drama with the town hall and the townspeople not wanting to give the police department more money, and the struggle that the police department was having with getting enough money to fucking solve what was going on, bringing in marine biologists, people missing and not knowing what happens. Like that dude stating that stewardess who loses her hat and falls onto the beach and gets eaten at the end.
Yep.
Like it was such a good, you believe that these people in this community live, by seaside, that's their lives, they're close knit, and that something is attacking them and they have no idea what it is. And
I was gonna say, and I also like how it focuses on the cops and the detectives, like in their office, trying to just figure out how to deal with what they just cannot figure out what it is. Like, well, we're like, it can't be a serial killer, like, because of what's happening here. So it's got to be something under the sand. So what they do, they decide to dig up the sand and like and they find, like, what was that? Like a buried warehouse or something that was buried underneath the sand that they ended up going into, and that's, obviously where they do show the monster at the end, which definitely looked like something from John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, it seems it's resembled a worm-like Venus flytrap. I do appreciate that what they did was really smart with this movie is they just used the sand as quicksand.
Yes.
And they didn't try to show anything. They probably didn't have the money for it, but they focused more on the relationships. They focused more on Hoagie and his girlfriend coming back, or ex-girlfriend, his current girlfriend being killed, finding out that his ex-girlfriend got divorced from her husband, the two of them starting to hook up, their relationship building, even the couple that part ways from singing their song. Like there's a lot of relationships in this. And I think that was really smart. You focused more on being upset when people died than the sensation of having a creature. And I feel like that's the power when you don't have the budget or the CGI. as a way to show things, you have to focus on other things. This is actually quite a good movie for 1981. Like, I actually quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I was surprised because like I watched it like a little while ago for the first time, like before this episode, and thought it was okay. And the second time around, I liked it a little more. I think it's also because I watched a much cleaner version of it. Like before, it was kind of just like really grainy and
Yeah, it is a
not the
little
best
bit
quality.
grainy. Yeah.
I did watch this though, and the full video is on YouTube, so you can watch it there, and like it's a just really good picture quality. But yeah, like I really did enjoy this. I like the fact that they, you once again, it's one of those films that uses its budget wisely, does not show a big monster reveal till the very end, and you only get like a couple seconds of seeing what this thing looks like. And it's just because they didn't have the money to do it, so why try? And what they gave us instead works out so much better because it leaves it much more of a mystery of what the hell is this thing? What could it be?
Yeah, and I will actually credit, I think it's Dave C who said this. We're talking about Dave C a lot today. Like, Dave, you must be feeling like the love. But he said something once about like newer films not having songs that are memorable. And I think for the most part, with the exception of Jordan Peele's movie Us, where I'm like, you got 5 on it.
Right.
Da-da. Or like Candyman coming out and Say My Name's in that, and the reversion that they've done it, or the readaptation of that song. Generally speaking, though, the 80s were very good at giving you music and building character.
Yes.
Like, there's not, like, even if we think of John Carpenter's Halloween, the kills aren't over sensationalized, but you care about what happens to the people, so it hits you more.
Yep. And the music during that is what makes it so effective.
And I found with Blood Beach, not only did it use that song, which is obviously caught in my head now because I sing it, it made me, they used also the music to get people to show a relationship between two people.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we're surveying the beach and you hear that creepy like music, you know it's not over. You see all these people on the beach and you see some sinkholes, you see some kid go missing. Though you don't really see him go missing, you see him and then he's gone. You see the panic of the parent trying to find them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it was a very good environmental film, like of just like shit that happens on the beach and shit that we don't understand. But I think I'm beginning to have more of that appreciation of why people do say they love, 80s horror movies. I am still very much an advocate of all generations of horror movies, but I'm beginning to understand that there were certain movies in the 80s that just did certain things well. And they built relationships well. They used music well. And what they could not do or could not afford to do or were concerned about being censored when it came to kills or whatnot, they could do with other things. Building up suspense, building up the relationships, giving you a reason to care. And I think that Blood Beach does a really good job of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, this is probably like my so this is the second time I watched it, and this is like right up there with the other film that we'll be talking about here shortly, that I wasn't sure how I felt about it the first time, but rewatching it, they both have very similar themes to them. And there's a reason for that we'll get to when we get to that movie. But
I think we can get to it now whenever you're ready.
Well, no, that's the third movie that we'll be talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the next one.
Okay. But the next one's no, but we can jump into the next one. Speaking of music that gets stuck in your head.
Going on a fall break.
We're gonna have a good time. Gonna have a good time. We're going on a fall break. Fall break.
Like, we were literally snapping, and this is where we should have video because Scott and I were dancing to that song. Yeah, so this was originally called Fall Break. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you know that from the song, Scott? Did you know that? Like, I know some kind of fucking horror trivia right now. Honestly.
Well, no, I actually own the Blu-ray of the Mutilator because we're talking about the Mutilator 1985.
Yeah, sorry, do the intro to the movie.
Yeah, so the Mutilator, released January of 1985. Ed, a teenager, brings his friends to his father's condominium to spend their fall break. Little does he know that his deranged father is waiting to seek revenge for a long ago death of his wife. Such a silly plot. But yes, I owned the Blu-ray of this and watched it quite a few times, and that's where I knew it was fall break because even the credits like on the Blu-ray came up as fall break. Mm-hmm. Then you just get this super just cheesy but catchy ass song that just never leaves your brain. Like, I posted just those 3 lines from the song on Facebook, and everyone instantly got it and was typing like.
And then
about the movie.
everybody left our group.
Yep.
Now we have 0 members on Facebook.
No one loves us.
No one loves you. You ruined it.
Oh.
Gary's like, there's Heather bullying Scott again. There she is. I really dug this movie. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I've always avoided it because I thought it looked stupid. It's, you know what, Lucas made a very good point. He kind of brought up his thoughts on this, that it wasn't one of our fans, one of our, I don't know, he's one of our listeners.
One of our listeners,
fans. That's a pretty bold statement to make, Heather.
I mean, Smoke Show does have fans though,
right? But he made a point that I could see why people couldn't get into this, because it is slow and the acting is not as good as Blood Beach. I'll be honest, Blood Beach had way better. But then you got John Saxon and David Huffman. Like, you got some, fucking premium name actors in that movie. Yeah. It, like, comparably to like this movie, right? The beginning of this, I was like, oh, okay, so he accidentally shoots his mom clean the gun. And I guess, like, what, 10 years are supposed to have gone by? I'm trying to figure out the amount of time.
Yeah, I think it's got to be like, well, I'd say probably like more than that, because I think they're all college age at this point, and the kid was only
like 12 8? Years.
Yeah, like 12, 13 years go by or something like that, and that's when his father decides it's time for revenge.
So this is the thing that I'm like, his dad, like, clothed him, took care of him, took him up to the cottage or this lake house, did all this shit with him, and then was like, I'm just gonna fucking wait till I tell him to close that fucking lake house one day, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Once he turns 20 years old, his ass is grass.
Right? Like, it was like he had a set time, and it's like, that's the only part about the story that I think is kind of stupid, is that his dad's in his life. It would have made more sense if they just went out to a lake house and his dad stalked them and found out they were there. I don't know why they wrote in that it was his lake house and that his dad, like, anyway.
Well, I think the reason they wrote him in as his lake house is because if not, you wouldn't have the awesome, like, things of, hey, what's that picture over there that's framed? Oh, this is a picture that my dad took of a guy that he killed during a boating accident. And the dude's like showing his intestines all ripped open, and it's all framed in a nice picture. And their friends are going, oh, neat, put it back. Let's continue partying at this beach house. No reason to think there's a psychopath that lives in this house.
And no reason. Like, you know what we should go do? Bang in the garage.
Yes. Let's go bang in the garage. Of all places, that's the sexiest place to bang.
That is the sexiest place to go out to. But I will say I do enjoy kind of like the opening scene. If they're all talking about what they're going to do, and he gets the call from his dad, is like, I have to go close the lake house. And they're all like, we should go together. And then you get that song going on, a ball break. Football. Anyway, I do think the setup is nice, that they're right on the beach. You do get the idea that it's like late fall, so you're not going to go swimming, but you're down by the ocean, down by the water. I do think they set that up rather nicely. I think the couples are all very affable. Like, you like everybody that's there. The 6 couples that go, they're all likable people. They're not the best actors in the entire planet, but they're likable, and that matters.
And they're enjoyable to watch. Some of them are like, especially the son is just definitely a very oddball character, but I like just with some of the things that he says. But like, yeah, like every one of the characters are just fun. Like, that's the thing I like about this movie, is it's a ridiculous movie, but the characters make it fun, because it is slow. There's not a lot happening, but like you had said, a lot of 80s slashers are really slow. Like,
they are,
and the killing doesn't usually happen till like the third act. But yeah, like, this was slow, but like, once again, as long as you have entertaining characters, and I thought these characters were quite entertaining.
I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the couple dynamic, like the couple that wants to bang all the time, and they make the meals and stuff like that, and they have this like routine of who's going to clean up what night, and you really get the idea that they are friends. They play some board games, like they do stuff that all stuff you would do at a cottage or like a lake house.
Well, and then I do like the fact that they decide at their age, hey, let's go play hide and seek.
Yeah, right. Like, but it is fun, the way they structure the game. Like, it is like the shit they do is fun. And even when they're all walking on the beach in a big group and they're trying to find their other friends who have gone off to that pool to bang, which yet again would happen. Like, I can see myself doing that and going off to the pool and hooking up, and you don't think anything's going to happen to you. Like, I think this movie does do a really good job of building it, and there's a lot of throws to Night of the Living Dead. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, right? Like, there's some really cute like tie-ins to other horror movies that I did enjoy. And of course, you got the girl who's like, oh no, we can't have sex yet, even though we're at this cottage or this lake house. I'd be like, so how many times are we going to bang this weekend?
Right.
It better be a lot.
Oh
That's
no,
why I
we
came
can't
here.
have sex. Oh no, we can't have sex while we're at this cottage. Oh no, well, I guess you're not having sex at this cottage. That's not stopping me. See ya.
That's really funny, Scott. That's really good. But yeah, I just feel like the setup was really well done. Like you get the idea that they've gone away for this beach location. It's dark out at night. The kills are good. The pool probably was my favorite scene.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Ooh.
that scene.
Probably one of the more vicious kills in a slasher in quite some time was the giant fish hook kill with the woman.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
it does
talk
give you a
about
little
like
bit of the willies, right?
talk about like, I don't have a vagina, but I know that's painful and you would be bleeding out.
Oh yeah, it would be fucking horrible, right?
Yeah.
I even like how like the poor police officer gets decapitated, right? And like, it's just like everybody is like gets killed off except for the two main characters, which is Ed and Pam. And then Ed finds out that it's his dad. He's like, "That's my dad," right?
Yeah, that's just the way. That's my dad. And then it kind of just cuts to the end.
And then they think that they killed him, but they get into the car and the car won't start and she's flooding the engine. And you still get this vibe that they really are at this isolated island town. They really have nowhere else to go. They can't really get away from anybody. And the cops kind of slowly show up, but the dad gets up and still kind of goes back for that one last kill. Great 80s shit, man. Like really, really great 80s shit. As I said, I like the pool scene. I like when the couple goes swimming and she gets killed in the pool and he gets out like not knowing where she is and then follows the clothes like, all right, it's getting warmer. It's getting better. I like this. Like, I just think it's really, really charming. A charming little beach house film. I still don't get the Mutilator name. I think Fall Break would have been good.
Yeah,
I don't know why they went back and forth with the names. Do you know why?
I'm not sure either. Like, I think just maybe the Mutilator sold the film on the VHS. Like, because this is one of those like VOD style, but back in the day, straight to VHS, and it would sell it by the cover. And
Right.
The Mutilator, probably just the title itself probably just popped out better for people to want to grab it. I do, however, love the tagline to this. By hook, by axe, bye.
It is good tagline. It is. That'd be a great trivia question.
Yeah, I love that tagline. Like ever since I seen it, like when I got the Blu-ray, it just stuck with my head.
It's epic. Yeah, this was a great little these two 80s films were awesome for going to the beach, getting away with your friends, and then shit going down. One's a slasher, one's like a creature feature, but man, good little 80 films that really represent the good times of going to the beach with your friends and just getting away on a fall break or living in a seaside town, just trying to make it with your loved one that you sing at karaoke with every Saturday night at the bar. But then we jump ahead to the late 2000s and like 2015.
Yeah,
and we have
this
a
is
classic.
And well, this one is why I was talking about definitely along the lines of Blood Beach, because The Sands, released August 28th, 2015, is an homage to Blood Beach. I actually looked this up, and yep, they were inspired by the movie Blood Beach. By the whole.
Say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you watch the movie, you can tell. But a group of teenagers find a mysterious egg on a beach. It was more a party of teenagers finds a mysterious egg on the beach, and it hatches the next day and turns into a terrifying monster. This one is definitely one thing I will say right off the bat. This suffers horribly from very poor CGI and trying to show too much.
It's a shame that they did that because the acting in this actually isn't that bad.
No, I'll say, like, I actually enjoyed all the characters in this. Like, even the asshole characters, they were like believable.
Yeah.
And like they actually, build up a little bit of the drama between the main character and the ex-boyfriend. And like they set that all up perfectly. And like the beginning, they set it up with how they're all just like basically on spring break partying on this beach like you would.
It starts off like found footage, right? So someone's videotaping or video recording this party. They're all just partying on the beach, as you said. And then they find this like weird fucking looking egg thing. And I think they basically open it.
Yeah, it's either I think they end up putting it on the fire, and that's what makes it hatch.
Right. And they wake up the next day all fucking hungover. The one guy's in a barrel. The other people are passed out in the car. The other two are in the lifeguard Stan.
Yep. And then everyone else on the beach is just mysteriously gone, but all their stuff is still there.
Right. And then they put it together that everybody's gone. They're just super hungover at first. It's really, really cool. Like you don't think anything's wrong at first until the first guy gets up. Is it the guy or the girl that gets up first?
It's the girl that once again just wanted to show some teen, a topless girl on the picnic table. She gets up and puts her feet in the sand, and then all of a sudden she just can't move.
Right.
And then she puts her hand in there, once again, can't move, and she's stuck in that position. But they pan over to the other guy who wants to go help her, who trips and falls. They show what happens to him, but they never go back to show what happened to her. You just assume she's gone.
You just assume that, yeah, that's true. That's true. You assume that she got eaten, but you do see his face being eaten.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even with, like, the bad CGI, that's still...
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that was more practical special effects that they did there.
It looked like they might have had some practical there, but it was still a lot of CGI with the way, like, because you see his whole face, basically, just this eye falling out and everything.
Yeah, it definitely had some, and I think their reactions were good if that was just CGI, by the way. I think they did pretty good for pretending that their face was falling off. Like, these were obviously B-listed actors. You know, when your biggest name is Jamie Kennedy, as much as I like Jamie Kennedy, let's be real here, right?
Oof, so, like, in this character, we'll get to that.
Who was in there for like 15 seconds, but it was, I like the setup of it. Once they figure out when the dude and the chick die, and they're like, holy fuck, we can't touch the sand. Slenderman's behind you, watch out. So it's, like, this movie, unlike the other movies we've seen, like Blood Beach was on the sand for a lot of it. I would say The Mutilator and our last film were more similar. But this really is like, you don't get a break from the beach. It is the one set that they are on for the entire film.
Yep. Like, they are literally in this one setting the whole time. They don't leave that setting. And like, I like it because like you said, like, the acting is good. Like, one of the other things I like about this is where it's like an homage to obviously Blood Beach with the creature in the sand, but it's also, I feel, an homage to Tremors, because they can't touch the sand. If they step on the ground, they're fucked, basically. And so they are forced to be in these spots, like either straight out in the sun being baked alive and not having any water to like hydrate themselves or to protect themselves from the sun. You have the poor guy that's shoved in the trash can, like with the barrel, because he was drunk, passed out.
And he was annoying, but his panic was believable.
Yes. Like, I felt so bad for him because, he's literally, like, he's a much larger guy shoved in this metal trash can and was passed out overnight and stuck in there. That has to have hurt, being just shoved in that thing. And then
I would assume
then you're being baked on top of that because you're out in the open sun, and the barrel is metal, so that's getting hot as well.
Yeah.
And he can't turn around and see what's going on because he's stuck in one position, so he can only turn so far. Like, I honestly felt bad for that guy. Like,
this was my second watch. I watched this
same.
right before, and I honestly enjoy this film. I think for a beach horror film, I know it's a 2015. I don't think the character development is as deep as like the 1980s films. Like, when we say character development, like, you meet the characters right away and you're developing as the story's going, where in an 80s film, you develop the relationships, and then the horror really takes place. You might have a couple things that happen here or there, but the real kit and caboodle, as you said, happens in the third act. This, you have shit happening right away, but it was, you are kind of feeling their relationships and their stress, and you do have, like, obviously they'd be super dehydrated by this point. Like, they put on sunscreen and throw it to each other and stuff. Like, you got to suspend disbelief a little bit too. Like, obviously,
because I think the only way
they'd be dead, right? But
because I think the only thing that they ended up getting to hydrate themselves was a couple cans of pop.
Yeah.
And that's like, not going to hydrate. That's going to dehydrate you more than anything.
But you just kind of go, you write that off as movie. But they figure out if you cover your feet. So then Jamie Kennedy shows up in the truck, and they're yelling at him to not get out of it. Now, before we lead to that part, what I really appreciated, there was a beautiful blonde woman in a very beautiful bikini. She was obviously, I'm assuming she's a model. I think they all are models in this.
Yeah, because they're all good looking.
All good looking people, right? But she tries to, like, she's the one that's figuring shit out. Did you notice that? She would be the one being like, no, that doesn't make sense biologically wise, blah, 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 blah. And I'm glad they made her that character. Like, I'm glad that she wasn't wearing a lot, so she looked beautiful. She looked great, nice body, but she also, like, came up with shit.
Yeah.
Like, she was also trying to solve the problem. She's like, I don't know what to do, guys. I'm so dumb. Like, they didn't do that stereotype with her. She was like, no, we need to like no one was stupid. Everyone was trying to figure out how to solve the problem.
Right. And like even the ex-boyfriend or whatever, like I loved his idea where he's like, well, he was a surfer. They have the surfboards, which I thought was cool that they showed that this creature has a level of intelligence to it. Because like we were saying with a lot of these characters, they all were not dum-dums. They were trying to
they were
figure
pretty
out
smart.
ways. Yeah. And he figured out like, if I'm going to put the surfboards that are on the back of this car in the sand and try to walk across to get to this bag of supplies by the picnic table. And like, I like how he was doing that. Unfortunately for him, this is when we find out that this creature or whatever it is smart and is actually trying to take away the surfboard from underneath his feet.
Yeah, it knocks him down, and he gets that on his stomach.
Yeah, he gets literally just stung almost like a jellyfish.
Now, that was practical, wasn't it?
I think that one was a mix, but I think that one definitely, because it looked like it was a prosthetic on his stomach.
Yeah.
I think when it burst, it was like the CGI, but
yes, but when it was just
good.
there, it looked practical, right?
Yeah, and it actually looked good even with the CGI.
Yeah,
there, like because I think it was a simple effect. With some of the other stuff they try to show, when they try to show too much of an extravagant effect.
I agree. Like even the sand, like the little tentacles reaching up from the sand. Jenny Kennedy shows up and he's all like, you guys on the marijuana? You guys doing the smoky? Like it's his lyrics. I will give Jamie Kennedy credit. He does deliver shit well.
He does.
He did come across as an asshole cop. Yet again, he's only reading what's written for him. Let's be clear here, right? So, it's, and then he bends down to pick up his keys. And he gets like pepper spray, and then it like rips his arm off, which is where you get the really cheesy CGI. But
yeah,
I thought he was going to be in a lot more but he was literally in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and this is the part that always just like for the second time watching it just threw me off because there is no real hint of comedy throughout this movie until he shows up. And then it's just like, it just felt unnecessary to be comedic in that scene. But I think once again, it was just writing. It was the writing that he was given, unfortunately. They're probably like, hey, Jamie Kennedy's a comedian. Let's give him some funny lines.
Right? Like that's totally like, all right, let's have this goofy beach patrol man show up and have some really silly lines that he's going to give. And then it kind of goes back to being serious, right? But yeah, it's true. And like they have the whole drama, like the one girl punches the other girl about making out with her boyfriend, even though she like hung out with that Mitch guy in the tower all night, who I thought was going to be the final guy. Yeah. I was shocked when he dies. Like
I was going to say, like, I was shocked. Yeah. Like, cause that just showed no one was safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Cause he got taken out and he was taken out fast. Like it was unexpected.
Pretty early on. You feel bad for the guy that's in the Gilbert. Eventually he gets like eaten through the barrel and he dies and he's done, but they keep on cheering on each other as they're trying to like get to the Beach Pearl car. And that's where we start to see the creature towards the end. And Jonah is like slowly dying. All of a sudden the chick that was like, you can do it, baby, I believe in you, is like, oh no, it's cool, you're back with your ex now, in the series of like 15 minutes that we've been dealing with the situation. All right, I'm cool with that. But you know what? That aside, I thought that it was really entertaining. The creature effects at the end were very much like a TV horror movie. Yeah,
I was gonna say like those ones didn't look bad. They looked
they kept it dark. That's why.
Yeah, they kept it dark, and like it almost reminded me of like sci-fi TV style.
Yes.
Like, but like it didn't look bad there. Like it's just like some of the effects were just painful to watch, like how bad it looked. But like when they show like the big reveal that it's these giant tentacles coming out and like trying to slam the car, like that didn't look too bad. Like,
I would agree.
But I do like that you realize this thing is huge because it pans out and it just shows the ocean, like shows the beach and the ocean, and you see the beast swimming through the ocean going towards another beach, and this thing's monstrous.
Well, it's going towards Coney Island. I think it's supposed to be Coney Island,
wasn't
right?
it?
Yeah. Which I thought was a nice little touch to it. Like it's heading there and gonna like fuck people up on Coney Island.
Yeah, and I like because and this one is definitely probably this one in the second movie definitely focused a lot more on the beach. Like
yes,
the settings were like right there, like even more than the other two.
It was very much a beach film.
Yeah, right? And all these are like, and I think all except for Mutilator were all during like summertime.
I I really did enjoy this film. It is a TV lower budget type of movie, but I really liked it. I really found it enjoyable to sit through, to be honest.
Yeah, I will complain about the CGI and like just make fun of how bad it looks, but the idea behind it and the way that these actors are playing off of this make this an entertaining movie. Like that I would recommend someone watching. I'll just be like, give you a heads up. This is some awful CGI, but it's still a fun movie.
But it's totally worth the watch, right? It's easy, it's palatable, it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad we checked this one out. And then I guess there was one.
Yep, and then there was one. This one is The Beach House, which was released October 22nd, 2020. Emily and her boyfriend Randall have been in a difficult relationship for some time, which is why the couple decides to take a short vacation at Randall's father's beach house. However, the break soon turns into a real struggle for survival. This one we ended up watching together last year, like when we used to do our movie nights together.
Yeah, we did watch it together. You're right.
And I remember I enjoyed it more than you did because I kind of liked the whole struggled relationship situation where I think that was where you didn't really care, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But yeah, I rewatching it now. Like I think I'm about the same as I was last year. Like I still enjoy it. And I still find it a fun watch because it does have like some very Lovecraftian inspired type horror to it. But I like and it's just a kind of a unique story where it's just that, they show up to the uncle's house or his father's house and there's an older couple there that they didn't know was there. And they just I like the dynamic between the two, though they didn't I wish they would have focused on them as a group more. But the elderly couple kind of get taken out of the picture pretty early on.
They do. And I think what I did enjoy about this film, when we look at the lake house kind of effect, right? That and the Mutilator, they did a good job of, giving the simulation of you're going to the lake house, you get there, it's this beautiful view of the beach. This lake house is gorgeous. It's big enough that you can have multiple people there and not realize that other people are there.
Right.
I do enjoy even the white walls. I like the little the finishing touches of it, the white walls and the blues and the background and the pictures on the wall. All of it said very much this is a beach house.
Yeah.
That there's these cottages, very fancy cottages that just have those cascading stairs down to the beach. And it had all of that there. So even though we don't get tons of time on the beach, we do get the whole atmosphere of being at the beach.
Yes.
Right. Where the stands, it was kind of we're at the beach the entire time. All you're seeing is the beach. This one was more well, the water's there, but we're giving you the whole experience of going to a lake house.
Yep, exactly. And I like that a lot because watching this movie, I'm going, man, I wish I knew someone that had a lake house like that.
I do know someone that has a lake house.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
I went to it a couple of years ago. I don't think, but they rent it out now because they make mad cash, especially after COVID-19, right? So
I can imagine they would.
They do. They make mad cash. The lake isn't as nice though. It's not on an ocean. It's just on a regular lake, right?
Oh, okay.
It's clear. It's not that nice,
but
right? So. But yeah, I do enjoy the foot horror in this an extent. I can't watch it because it makes me so uncomfortable. So I guess I'm jumping ahead. So we have the whole relationship building. This movie does do a lot of that. The couple has issues. They're befriending this older couple, yada, 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 yada. They all do edibles. They do too much. And then there's some, they talk about organisms growing and obviously there's something coming out of the water. Yep. And there's something infecting them and making them sick. And you see the slow descent into madness, the older woman changes, etc. I do enjoy the part where they go down to the beach and the one guy gets rumbly tum-tum and has to piece, because that always happens to someone at the beach.
Right.
And go ahead.
And yeah, I liked the during that, shortly after that scene when he goes running off, in the Miles, I think it was, the professor shows back up out of nowhere and just how he's just talking very weirdly and distant, and then he's just all right, gonna go for a swim, and you just watch him just walk out into the middle of the ocean and then just gone.
And he disappears, right?
It's so that's just so creepy to me just watching that.
Well, yeah, and then she's stepping back from the water yelling for him, and then she gets that shit on her foot, which even simulates if you get shit in your foot on the beach, right? Like the idea that you could be walking on the beach and step on something and it's gooey and gross, like sometime algae or seaweed, but this takes
Or
it to
even
a whole
like
other
jellyfish.
level. Or jellyfish. This takes it like, and even as I'm talking about this foot horror, it makes my foot hurt and it makes me grossed out. Like the foot horror and that practical effect is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, because when she steps on this thing, it's like a monstrous jellyfish in a way.
Yeah.
But when she steps on it, like instantly, like a parasite is like hooked to her foot and already burrowed inside.
Right, and then she has to get it out. Oh my god.
Yeah, and when it goes to the point where she's trying to pull it out of her, God. Oh my!
It's even hard to talk about.
Yeah, like that scene alone just makes me like, I twitch every time just even thinking about that scene. And then like it showed like, and that's where I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on with this movie? And then like that's when these people that are changing are kind of changed into these almost like blind zombie-like monsters that you find out later are just kind of like featureless monsters as they continue just like changing. And I don't know what they're supposed to be, but it's kind of what I like about this film is that it's
very Lovecraftian, isn't it? This is Lovecraft, right?
Oh, it definitely has a Lovecraft feel to it.
Okay.
And like, yeah, it's just like some like, and it's all about these microorganisms that are floating in the air that are just like infecting everybody because you're breathing it in and all that stuff. And I like that because they even go to when they find another beach house that's abandoned, they get inside and they turn the TV on and it's just an emergency channel thing saying like pretty much this town stay indoors, lock down, like it's affecting the whole town, not just this area.
And you see the suffocation of like her and him and her finding those other people that are fucked up. Like it does isolation horror at this beach community very well.
Yeah, because like even when they're on the beach, like it just feels like they're isolated because she's looking around going, there's nobody out here. This is weird.
Nobody.
And
it is weird, right? And I think that it does show, it reminded me very much of like a very exclusive island area, and you only have a handful of people there and you have to drive 30 minutes in to get to a grocery store. And it was just very good at creating that isolation and that horror element of it, as well as with the, the foot horror and shit like that was really cool too. The ending where she gets washed away by the water, I think is a great ending of don't be afraid. And it does tie back into what she was talking about earlier at dinner and organisms and not knowing everything that exists on this planet. And it was a very good environmental beach house movie, right? Like we have so many different movies here. We have, one that is alien based, which I would say The Sands is. Another that is Blood Beach could have been alien based. It could have been environmentally based. We don't really know. And then the Mutilator is just a slasher, right? And then this one's definitely environmental, like based horror for sure. Like it was really cool and really well done. And it even talked like, I know we're kind of rewinding here, but when Randall says, oh, maybe we could move here and stay here, it even pulled into the fantasy of wanting to live at your beach house all the time.
Right, exactly. Like, cause like there's like that. I get that feeling when I go to the cabin in the UP. It's like I could just live here and stay here, but I'm thinking I would go insane. Like I would be. It's nice, but I would go insane.
Right, you probably would. You would probably have fun for the first little bit, but I think to live up in those communities is exhausting. Right, at the same time, like and you have isolating. To really like being on your own and that being your thing. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, then it's just that isolation will be too much for me after a while.
Absolutely. Well, anything else we want to add to the beach?
Nothing that I can think of except for like I do love these beach horror films. Like they do bring in like that just feeling of summer.
Yeah, they really do. And I do enjoy the relationships that we see in all of these films and how that kind of, the beach is a perfect setting because when you do go to the beach, you think about going with your family or friends or your lake house, and that's where you make memories and all that kind of stuff, or you're hanging out with your friends and having a party on the beach, or every day your guys are going down to the beach and hanging out like they do in Blood Beach. That's where you build those relationships and those fun times, quote unquote. And I think these horror movies capitalized on that. They also capitalized on the idea of that being a social outing and fear that can happen when you go to the beach. So cheers to these movies. movies because I think they really have captured the relationship piece and your worst case scenario piece.
Yes, exactly. And cheers for these movies because this makes me want to go to the beach even more now.
Right? Absolutely. Now you're all like, I want shit in my foot. I want
Right?
to see if my dad
wanna-
will get revenge on me 15 years later.
Oh man, wouldn't that be the best?
Right? Like, man, I want Heather to get stuck in a barrel and yell at me the entire time.
You
As
would be
I-
you would be the one sticking me in the barrel.
I hope I would be the chick that like gets her fingers in the fucking trunk because at least I was showing my boobies and trying to think about what I needed to do next. Because because she was pretty intuitive. I gotta say, she actually had a pretty good idea.
She did.
Right. So good movies, fun movies, all fun watches, all recommends. You know, I think that you'll have a good time with these if you're looking for some beach horror.
Absolutely agree 100%.
So, Scotty, what are some beach movies that your favorite movie, or do you have a couple?
Yes, because this is obviously there's always going to be the big well-known one, and that's Jaws. Jaws is a fantastic one, but I went with something a little bit different because everyone loves Jaws and blah blah blah. I wanted to talk about Piranha 3D.
That's a fun movie.
I freaking love this movie. It is so it's what a remake should be. Just like they take the original story and they just ramp it up even more. And I just love it because this one is definitely like one of those beach boat parties where it's just like a bunch of people on boats like next to each other partying it up, literally spring break style partying.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously they have Jerry O'Connell playing like basically the dude from that records Girls Gone Wild.
Oh yes.
And being the complete douchebag like that guy is in real life.
Awesome. Awesome.
But man, like this one is also chock full of CGI with the fish. But when the attack on the beach happens, holy shit, is it just like a gore fest? Like so much violence happens in such a short amount of time, but like the amounts of practical effects that were used along with CGI is freaking incredible. And I went to see this in theater in 3D.
Oh, nice.
It was so much fun. That was such a fun experience. And once again, it's one of those movies that's just like, this just feels like summer. I always try watching this during the summer because it just has that summer feel to it and makes me want to be like, I wish I could party like that. And just without the killer piranhas.
Or maybe with the killer piranhas.
Maybe. But that was the one I wanted to bring to the table because it's just a super fun movie. Like if there's someone that hasn't seen this yet, I highly recommend it because it doesn't take itself seriously, but it's also just like an awesome homage to a lot of horror, and it's just super violent.
I couldn't agree more. I really dig that movie. I like movies like this. I like when they're fluffy and fun. Mine's going to be Aqua Slash from 2020. I love Aqua Slash. I think that movie is fucking hilarious.
That movie is so much fun.
It's a B film all the way. And yes, it takes place at a water park, but there's also a beach. So it's all just water themed, and they have this crazy scene with the water slide at the end because that's what you're watching it for. That one, and I wanted to also give a shout out to The Shallows with Blake Lively. I think that did a great job of beach horror as well, just a little bit different, right? Like that one I think took itself more seriously, but it does definitely, majority of it is on the beach. Like the whole thing is she gets there and she's trying to survive being on this beach. It's very similar to The Sands in the sense that it's in one location.
Yep, and it's also, and that also kind of covers like another style of beach where it's like she found a secluded beach to do this at.
Yes, like there's those two other surfer dudes there, but like,
but it's not like big party central beach, like huge public beach. Like it's like just kind of a little thing off to the side that you may go visit.
And I dig that one, but man, I gotta watch Aqua Slash again because I fucking love that movie.
We need to do a water
park
theme.
One.
Yeah, because we could do Piranha 3 Double D.
We absolutely could.
Aqua Slash.
Right?
I bet there's enough we could probably cover a topic like that at some point.
We could probably find some other ones that have like, even if it's like a resort, maybe we could tie in like Club Dread or something like that. Right? Like, see what we can do. We can be flexible with our themes. We'll see what the boss says. Oh, wait, that's us.
So that's right. We the boss.
We can be as flexible as we want. So
I am very flexible. Hint,
oh
hint.
yeah, you are. But yeah, like these beach movies are just so like that's where you feel summer's coming. Like the camp theme movies as well, like Sleepaway Camp and The Burning and other stuff like that. Like you just totally dive, headfirst into this and you just have such a good time with them.
Absolutely agree. It's like it brings that feeling of the season.
It really does. It really does. Our next episode, we will be talking more about, was it lakes? What are we doing?
Lake houses and lakes just in general. Cause like, not everybody can get to like a really nice, like tropical beach or anything like that, but some can find like just a house that's next to a lake and just enjoy their vacation. So we're going to talk about
or
films
it could be like the last house on the left and you get fucked up.
That's
by
true.
The lake.
That's very true.
Right. So, and then we'll be doing our top 80s horror slashers, top 5 horror slashers from the 80s, which is going to be tough. Like
there are a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones. And then there's a lot of ones that people like maybe don't think are good. Like I love Final Exam. I think that shit's hilarious. And the one of Fatal Games, I think that one's really funny too.
Oh, Fatal Games. Oh my God.
I just really enjoy some of these 80s slashers and they're just fucking epic. Like they're easy to watch. And for some of them, yeah, they kind of all like jumped off of each other. We just did a review of Cheerleader Camp on the Summer Wedding Massacre. Like that movie's so cheesy. It's fun though. It's fun.
It is a fun slasher. Like I have fun with that one, but it's really cheesy.
Like do it again.
And what was it? The rap breakdown that they do in the middle of the.
Yes. And like the mascot breakdancing. No, I only gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I'd probably float between a 2.5 and a 3.
Yep, that's about where I'm at.
Right. Like it's it is what it is, right? It is missing some good writing. It is missing some like clarity with the plot and some other shit that to make you care. You care about, the mascot character, but not a lot of other people. So anyway, if anyone's interested in listening to us talk about that episode will be dropping soon on the Slumber Party Massacre. It's very summary as well. And Scott, you have a controllers up, cards down. I say Scott because I am taking a break from this episode. So
yeah, she's too good for us.
Yeah, I'm getting drunk. That's why I won't be on that episode. But Scott will be making sure that everything goes well.
Yep. I think this will be episode 5, and I believe we will have 2 guests on this episode.
Oh.
I will keep it a secret for now.
So Scott's having a threesome on the next controllers up, cards down. Scott's like, I am.
Treat me like a Chinese finger trap.
Oh my God. Oh, Scotty, you're too much. You're too much. I think we should talk to the hot babe that you're talking to online and let her know. Be like, hey, hot babe, I need to let you know Scotty's a weirdo. And Napoleon Dynamite is the best. I've been at home all day talking to hot babes online. I wish we could cover that movie because it's really funny. Napoleon Dynamite.
Maybe I would actually like it more.
Oh yeah, you don't like it, do you?
No, I've only watched it once and was not a fan of it, but that was a long time ago. So, taste change.
What movie I watched the first time and I hated was Elf with Will Ferrell. Like I fucking hated it. Then I watched it the second time and like he lights up all those elevator keys. I don't know what happened, but I thought that was so funny. And like, I guess it depends on the mood you're in on any given day.
It really does, especially with comedy. And yeah, I have to say with Elf, I'm still trying to like that movie.
You're not a fan?
Not a fan of that one still. Like I respect it. I'll watch it every once in a while because it's Christmassy, but like it's not something that I go to a lot.
Yeah, like that happens, right? It's just like when I think I was talking to you about Homeward Bound on one of our calls.
Oh, yeah.
Like how as a kid I thought that movie was a shit, and then I watched as an adult. I'm like, this is fucking painful.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, how the fuck am I going to get through this movie? I'm also watching, by the way, all the Jason movies from 5 to Jason X. I watched Jason Goes to Hell for the first time in like years. Like I'm talking probably 15 years. It was an interesting concept. I feel like it was too ahead of its time.
I'll say, do you like it more? Because I remember you did not like it at all. Really.
I do find parts of it boring, but I can say I appreciate the concept more.
Yep. I'll say it because it's one that I will champion as like it's not a Friday the 13th film, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is fun. I do like that Jason is in all of us at all any time. I do like some of the special effects. I do like the "you're not going to hurt that little sugar plum" or whatever it is, or the line that the elder lady gives at the cafe. It wasn't bad, but it does feel the time that it runs.
Yes.
And I feel like I watched Jason Takes Manhattan as well, which I know a lot of people don't like. I enjoy it.
It's a weaker of the franchise, but it's still not bad.
Like, I find that it's very formulaic. Like, it follows a formula.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Jason Goes to Hell broke that formula. And
well, that's because that's when New Line got a hold of the rights.
Yeah, they made it very Freddy Krueger-ish like type of a film. And I'm gonna watch Jason X maybe tonight after we finish recording.
God, that fucking movie's painful.
Which was filmed in Toronto.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't know. I definitely like the fifth. I think the sixth has the best writing, honestly. Like there's some really funny lines in Jason Lives.
Yeah, there are. I will give it that.
There's some really good lines. And I enjoy 7. I like the whole Carrie meets Jason aspect.
Same. Yeah,
but sorry, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say about Friday the 13th Part 6 is it's got 2 different songs by Alice Cooper that I fucking love.
Oh, really?
Yep. Man Behind the Mask, and I think it was Teenage Frankenstein.
I don't remember the songs in it as much. Yeah, like it's anyway, it's interesting that those are the ones we're ranking. We're not ranking I'm watching them because I'm ranking them.
Yeah, on Slumber Party Mask.
Yeah, not here. Scott and I did that. I don't even know if
we would be doing the whole franchise.
Yeah, and like it would be pretty quick. It would be like Scott would be like, I like 1, 2, 3, da da da, and I'd be like, I like blah blah blah, and that would be like the end of it.
Right.
Scott and I don't debate. Like we'll be like, oh, that's what you like, cool. That's what I like, cool. Okay, moving on. Like I don't give a shit. And that's the hardest thing for me is that I don't really care what other people like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't care. Like I teach you about Gremlins and shit, but obviously I think it's a decent movie. And, people like what they like. I'm not going to sit there and tell them it's not a good movie or this movie's better than another one or this one should be ranked the best. Like, I'm going to have a really hard time when I have to do that on Slumber Party because I just don't care.
Right.
Like, I don't. Like, if someone's like, I don't know, like, what's your favorite? What would be your ranking of the Friday the 13th if you had to go just off the top of your head?
Okay. Yeah. So it's 2, 4, 5.
Okay, 2, 4. Okay, 5. So those are your top 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Then it would be 6, 7.
6, 7 are your middles. 1. 1's really far
3.
back for you, huh?
Yeah, I'll say like I like it, but I like my Jason movies with Jason.
Okay, fair enough. And
like
then
I have a lot of respect for Part 1. Don't get me wrong, Dave Z, don't hate me, but like
Part 1 was a pioneer, right?
Yeah.
But the series went a whole different direction after Part 1.
Yep, and I'm ranking by entertainment,
of course.
Like which ones?
Yeah,
I find
your personal enjoyment, absolutely,
yeah.
Right?
And then it would be that'd be 3, 8 Goes to Hell, X. Yeah, X would be last.
What about the remake?
Oh yeah, the remake. Oh shit, that would be between 6 and 7.
Yeah. I'm not as passionate about the Friday series. Hence where Friday Nightmares, I'm the nightmare piece. But I would say probably 2 or 4. I think I agree with your 2-4 rating. I think that's fair. And I don't know, 5 or 6 are pretty high up there for me. I like both of them. And then 3 then 7, then 3, and then everything else. Like honestly, like then Manhattan, and then I'll see about Jason X. And the remake would probably be, so let's say I said my top 3 were 2, because really once I get past my top 5 I don't really care.
Right, that's kind of how I am.
Right?
Like any of those can be interchangeable, except for the one I hate the most.
But definitely I think 2, 4, actually we'll say 4, 2, 6, 5, and the remake.
Yep, and I'll say for so
and
2,
then
4,
I would say
6, 5.
And then I really do enjoy like the Tina story of where she like gets her psychic powers and shit.
Yeah, because I'll say that because like top 5 would probably be the best way to do it, like because the other ones are interchangeable. Unless you're looking at unless you're like, okay, this is the worst of the franchise, and that one's automatically going to be at the very end. For me, Jason X is the worst of the franchise. I cannot stand that one. Besides the whole hologram where they go back to the 70s and it's like, see the 2 topless women. Hey, do you want to smoke some pot and have premarital sex?
Yeah,
I love that scene because he wraps him in the freaking sleeping bag, smashes them. That scene I love. Everything else, I'm like, I don't care. This is in space and this is stupid.
Yeah, I get you. What about the Friday Nightmares? Or sorry, Friday Nightmares. Yeah, rank our episode, Scott. What's
Friday
your number
Nightmares.
one?
All right, let's go.
What about Nightmare on Elm Street series, including the remake?
Oh, okay. So Nightmare on Elm Street would be 132, 4, 6. Well, 4, New Nightmare, remake, 6, 5.
Yeah, I think I'm not far off from you. I think I would be 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then the remake. Even though
What about New Nightmare?
Oh, New Nightmare. Shit. New Nightmare. Okay, so 1, 3, 2, New Nightmare, and then 4, 5, 6, remake. And the only reason I put the remake at the bottom is because I think the writing was challenging at parts and some of the acting. But I think that movie actually had gusto to it. We talked about that in our remakes episode. But yeah, that's interesting, right? But like, honestly, if we did episodes of like ranking them and you were like, oh, this is my ranking, I'd be like, yet again, we'd be like, all right. I could never get a good enough argument to you to say, no, 4 should be number 1 for you for Fridays and not 2. Like, right. I can never come up with a good enough argument. Like, I'd be like, because I really like it because Tommy's in it. Like, I don't have that in me. I don't have it in my Heather soul.
Yeah, like I could probably debate certain movies, but not something like this. Like I just can't. I just don't have the heart for it.
Like if someone said to me, Us is a shitty film and it should have never been made, I'd be like, well, that's fine. You feel that way. But, there's a lot of political messages, blah, blah, blah. There's like, I don't fucking like it. I'd be like, okay, that's fine. If they were like, it's an objectively a bad film, I'd be like, well, no, it's not. It's like how I feel about Midsommar. I'm not a huge Midsommar fan. I've never made any bones about that, but I can still respect what the movie did. And how it was acted.
You don't say it's a bad movie.
No, it's not. Just because I didn't personally like it doesn't mean that it's a bad film.
Right.
And I think that when you have that approach, it's really hard for you to debate with people because you just don't like, unless it's an angry political social message. I'm not interested. Right. Or cookouts and barbecues.
Yes.
That's the other thing too. Or
that
like
the real
drinks that I'm going to have at the cookouts and barbecues.
Yes.
That's
and what yummy food.
And yum food in my tum.
Yes.
These are the things that I worry about for sure. Well, Scott's got to get going. He's got to go out on his phone line. And then afterwards, he's got to talk to some hot babe online all night long.
Hey, sexy. Do you want to pay $5.99 a minute for the first minute and $2.99 for every minute after to hear the smoke show seduce
and then
you?
After you get past $5.99, he's like, so I really like Fireball and I ordered some new magic cards. And did you know that if I get a special magic card, it could be worth $50? And that's really exciting because that's a lot of money.
Well, you know what? You just opened a whole nother can of worms because you know what got me excited?
What?
Magic the Gathering and the D&D world are combining. So now there's going to be D&D Magic the Gathering this summer.
My
Nerd
God.
heaven.
It's going to be a collection of virgins coming together. I'm just kidding.
There
are lots of females, males of different sexual preferences that enjoy Magic. And I'm sure they all have a wonderful time together on and off the board game court.
It is true.
Right.
But
they probably have the best sex. Because they probably like role play and shit.
That's true. Yeah, you know what? You're probably not wrong.
Right? Maybe you should find out, Scott.
Maybe I can use Fireball in my next sex move.
You should be like, my lady, I have come to save you from the sorceress. I don't know. I'm making this shit up. I have no idea how any of this game is played. I make fun of you only because it just goes over my simple Heather head.
Right. I understand.
I like to stick to things like checkers, go fish. I don't like things that have a lot of commitment to them. I know that's surprising.
You don't say.
You don't say, huh? Well, anyway, I think we've done more time bullshitting at the end than we've actually done on a review, but that's okay. If you're still listening, thank you as always for listening. Please subscribe to us on the Legion Podcast Network, as well as we will be releasing Patreons on the Legion Patreon subscription. If you're not a Patreon member yet, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Please come join us because we are many. and check out all the awesome shows we have to offer. You can check out Scotty on Controllers Up, Cards Down on our next episode, and I will be joining again in August. So just a brief break.
Would you say a fall break? Because we're gonna
fall
have
break?
a good time. Gonna
On a
have a
fall
good
break?
time. We're going
Gonna
on
have
a
good fall break.
we're going on a fall break. Fall break. And
So until the next time, Scotty, what do you have to say to the good listeners?
unpleasant dreams, but stay off the sand.
See ya.